Associate the positive and ignore the irrelevant. November 22nd, 1963. 35th President of the United States, John Fitzgerald Kennedy, was assassinated. It was in Dealey Plaza, near Dealey Plaza Hotel in downtown Dallas, when he was campaigning for his re-election. JFK, man, of course, the president during the civil rights era, the Jim Crow era, man, really had a lot of connections to, of course, he was a Democratic Party, and his whole unity and his whole purpose was to unify the Democrats, and also to not only just white people but black people as well as a whole. And one of the most famous quotes he has, like, don't ask what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. He always was a big advocate based on my research of what you should do, as individuals, and just be accountable. We all human beings. We all had capabilities, man. And I feel like for that short period of time he was president, he was a strong leader. Now, on January 20th, 1961, okay, and down to November 22nd, 1963 is when he ran. Then Lyndon B. Johnson became the vice president. But according to this, current president, President Trump, he's on the verge of releasing at least some like 300 documents over 2,080 JFK files, okay, leading to assassination. Now, let's see what's really going on, how accurate it was. Like, was it planned by the FBI or agents on why he got assassinated? And so, and this is really key. This is really important because I feel like in America they've been like really keeping a lot of things a secret, man. It should be no reason that, okay, he was campaigning, and talking about the national security, talking about strengthening the military, education in Dallas, and, being reelected, and he just got assassinated by one person, and that's supposed to be Lee Harvey Oswald. I really believe that, according to my research and watching the documentary, that it was 9 other assassins. I can't pick the other end, but I believe Jack Ruby was one of them, and this has to be planned from my FBI government. It just has to, it's the fact that he got shot 3 times, then got one big chunk in his head, and then he couldn't really, pretty much his family really couldn't get the good medical records or the accurate medical records from he was from Parkland to Bastida, and he had a personal physician named Mr. George Berkeley, and he wasn't even interviewed after he got assassinated, and that's the one he can really trace and get to really understand with the autopsy and be accurate and give a description of what really happened and the angle and bullets and how it traveled, and so they can really describe like who killed them, and so me just like analyzing things, it can't be one person. When I did research on Google, it was like they said after the assassination, 61% of the people in America 2 years after that in 1960s believe that Lee Harvey Oswald did not act it alone, and that percentage rose in 1976, stating that, okay, Lee Harvey Oswald did not act it alone. So I don't know, something that government is not telling us, but I always want to know what was going on, because me, I was in U.S. history in 10th grade. Of course, we seen a little video of him riding around, with his wife Jacqueline, and he got assassinated, but I ain't really going too in detail, like, why or who else was involved in it and how planned this was, man. Same thing with the Stephen Paddock situation, man. I don't believe it was just one person, just on the ground, just shooting people, man. He can be shooting people from that far distance on the floor with a machine gun. I believe it was like at least 4 or 5 shooters, man, to shoot and kill those mass amount of people. But getting back to the JFK files, it was stated that Attorney General Kastenbach wrote this down. He wrote in a memo stating that it's imperative that the public must be satisfied that Oswald was the only assassin. until we, this before he started investigating. This is where Lyndon B. Johnson actually came into play. He became to the president of the United States and released the Warren Commission. The Warren Commission was to help get to a thorough investigation of from the FBI, collection of the CIA, the Secret Services, to actually see what really happened, and see if go into really history and detail of Lee Harvey Oswald, if he had affiliation with the FBI informants. Now, my thing is this: FBI, according to my research, Mr. Lee Harvey Oswald, okay, the first assassinator, he had ties to Russia. He was applying for one of the visa applications doing his daily business. And he went to the Soviet embassies, and he was a marksmith. And so, if he was trained by Russia, they didn't want to agitate or aggravate, the Russian Empire at the time. So, the Soviet Union, because we had tensions. We just got out of the Cold War. So the reason why they're not releasing these files is because they pretty much is going to be redacted. It's going to be an edit in text, and the people that's still alive, they may get exposed, that has something to do with the assassination, and their lives may be at risk. So, it's all up in the air, but you can't really just tell me that, okay, he was just the only one that killed him. Now, we got this new movie called Geostorm. Okay, and there's so many files because of that, a HAARP organization that's controlling and manipulating the weather. And this is why we have a lot of catastrophic events such as the hurricanes, the tsunamis, and just mass amount of things and this national disasters, pretty much, man. You already heard that Hurricane Harvey, had Hurricane Irma, so back to back. So it's something out there, man. It's like electrical signal. JFK, I believe he signed one of the executive orders that's pretty much shaping our world today. But this is real interesting, man. But we all know the government is really hiding a lot of things, man. J. Edgar Hoover, he went into the case in 1971. He was the director of the FBI. He went into detail, and he said, listen, when I was in this case, he specifically told before he got assassinated that, okay, Lee Harvey Oswald's life might be in danger due to Jack Ruby. Jack Ruby was a nightclub owner during the time. So we don't know if this was, I believe this was planned. And for the exact reason, man. In one research that, JFK, he signed the executive order, to limit the Federal Reserve Bank. And the Federal Reserve Bank, man, and that's pretty much a set agenda for to create a whole central banking system. And this is why most of us, in the country, in the United States, go to war and bully other countries so they can have a one world currency. So these are the things that they're not going to talk about, though. But it will be real interesting, man. President Trump, can release all these files, though. But because I obviously want to go, like, why? It has to be a reason. You can't just. It's like seeing it. You can't just say something and I just gotta believe it. I have to go into thorough investigation. Like, why? After that, Jack Kennedy was sentenced. It's like it was just so much going on during that time. But just keep your eyes open. I just want to drop my views on about that, man. It's a really interesting thing, for the JFK files to be released. But yeah, man, this is something that's lost in history. But yeah, this is your boy Young Link Jr. here. You guys continue to subscribe and like. Thank you for watching the channel. Love you guys. I'm out. Deuces.